everybody, Jason Burmis here, and we haven't done the Epstein case justice in the last several months, and I'm going to be the first one to admit that. It's just one of those things where I went so hard on it for so long. I've been doing this now, professionally almost 15 years. It wasn't long after 9/11 that I really started getting into this stuff. And the Epstein case in particular is something I started covering in 2008, I believe. I'd have to probably go back through some of those info warriors. Maybe we're going to find it. Maybe we're not. And if we do, we'll definitely post it over on Rockfin for premium subscribers. We've been posting old Info Warrior podcasts from over a decade ago. But especially with that case, when you had all of this evidence, even back then, of high-level politicians, right? People in business surrounding themselves with Epstein then, that it literally takes another decade for the case to begin to break wide open. But the rub is, from what we know, and remember, this Maria Farmer, God bless her soul, and I know she's not doing well, and I hope that she's in my audience's thoughts and prayers, but she went to the NYPD and the FBI back in 1996. 1996. That's a decade before he's on the radar in Florida. Okay? Now think about that. Now, Maria, we only find out, went to these people in 1996 when this thing starts to break open again a decade after the disgusting, disturbing decisions over in Palm Beach, where he doesn't really even get a slap on the wrist at a country club. He gets a sweetheart deal in which he's leaving the facility, and it looks like he's with young women probably not even of age during his time. He never stopped. That's what the evidence shows. And the media continues to try to bury this story and bury this story and bury this story. And we've seen media personalities say when they think they're off camera or it's not recorded, we tried to bring this story. We had them. We had them dead to nuts back in the day. So you got to ask yourself with this latest story that we're going to go over, we have now pictures of Jeffrey Epstein on a straight up White House tour with Bill Clinton. Him and Ghislaine, right? And I know there's a lot of you out there that want to see that Ghislaine Maxwell mugshot, and I'm sympathetic to you people. But as you know, she's been in court in New York. It hasn't been remote over the past week, if you've been following the case. And there are people, AKA victims, that have now come forward outside of the Jane Doe moniker and been in there and said they've seen her. So I don't know if that's going to be enough for everybody. But again, I try to stick to what I can prove. Okay? Period. That's how we do it here. So with this, these pictures are coming from the Bill Clinton library. You're telling me the media didn't have access to this, that no journos went into those archives over this period, that right now in 2021, we're watching him get the tour of the White House. And remember, aside from all the plane trips, you have Epstein himself going on record and saying he was like the guy behind the Clinton Foundation. It was either the Clinton Foundation or the Clinton Initiative. I don't want to misspeak. It was one of the two. But we know he had an extensive relationship with these people. We know to this day they still have not even searched or raided Zorro Ranch and that facility. That should be extremely scary to people, especially when it comes out during this next raid. And remember, go through that again. Just total silence from 96 for over a decade until the Florida case. And then it's not until the Florida case is revisited a decade later, we even start to learn about the intelligence ties. And you got guys other than Bill Clinton, guys like Bill Richardson, who we're going to go over, right? who's the governor of New Mexico, totally named in multiple documents by multiple victims, right? And he's still running around. And once again, Lord knows what happens out in the desert at New Mexico. We're going to couple that with the revelation of over 2,000, it's actually over 2,100 photos that are highly sensitive, and talk about what those are and what they aren't, or what my beliefs are, because, there's obviously a lot of information on this one. So guys, let's thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share, and let's get into it, okay? I do want to remind everybody, we're here on YouTube by, the short hairs. Let's be honest. We got 2 strikes running. We got a channel that's been completely demonetized, running well over a year now. No appeals whatsoever. Appealing my strikes are just Johnny nonsense. We saw they gave me a 3rd strike, and how I got my channel back on that, I still don't know. YouTube, if you want to clue me in, you want to shoot me a DM over on Twitter and tell me why you gave me my channel back and decided that my transhumanism video wasn't medical misinformation. I mean, just going off mainstream sources, didn't have anything to do with the Johnny nonsense we're not supposed to talk about. But what we've been doing, guys, if you don't know, if things get a little too heated, who knows? Maybe they're going to start restricting Epstein information as medical misinformation. You never know, right? So, luckily, outside of this, which I hope you are sharing the channel because we want to grow here. I got, I think, 2.5 weeks left, probably closer to 3, and the strikes go away. We're like, those things last for like 3 months. So we got like 2.5 weeks left. The strikes go away, and then we'll see where we go from there. But we also know that arbitrarily anybody can be taken off at any time. Corbett Report taken off, Jamie Deluxe taken off, and so many other great creators out there. And by the way, guys, if you can support Jamie Deluxe, I really hope you do. And obviously, he's over on Odyssey like I am. Luckily, they have backed up my entire YouTube channel. But if you want to see the good stuff, the uncensored stuff, the full interview with Dan Dix, the full hour long with Wrist Flex, go make the Rockfin account. It's free. We're able to talk about everything there. Okay, hands down, there is no censorship. So if you haven't made the free Rockfin account, now is the time. The premium members, you're the ones supporting me, making this possible, and you do get like the old school podcasts and other material, including everybody else's material that's premium on the platform, by endorsing me when you make that subscription. So let's get into it. Here are just some of the pictures. So they got their VIP tour in the White House in '93. Now, again, if you've been paying attention to my work, people like Whitney Webb, you knew that Epstein was connected to Bill Clinton in the 90s. And if you were intellectually honest and you were watching Jason Burmis way back in the day, just subscribing, years ago, or saw me on We Are Change when I was talking about it, I was always saying you got to be intellectually honest. And Epstein knew Trump as well. But by the time that Trump got into the White House, he wasn't giving Epstein tours, was he? Was he? And you had to be really careful there. Who spent more time with one another? It's almost a moot point, because when you look at the Clinton connection, especially, the media won't touch it. And let's not forget, we don't have all the flight logs. I would assume that a guy like Trump also flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. As I used to report, Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell absolutely flew on his. Okay, and obviously that came out, Mar-a-Lago, all that stuff, right? What I don't have on record, and I do have on record with Clinton, is that Trump and Epstein weren't riding with a multiple accused sexual predator and accused pedophile like Kevin Spacey. Right? Right? I don't know that. I don't have that information. But I do have it about Bill Clinton. Okay? And I also know that Bill Clinton loved to keep company with Kevin Spacey. There are a multitude of pictures throughout Spacey and Clinton's political career while a president and post-presidency. Okay? So here, all this denial. And here's the thing. This came out yesterday. I almost went live with it immediately. But I was like, why bother? Why bother? The mainstream in my country is not going to touch it. Like, let's do it live. Let's see all the headlines. We should just, this is Google, right? I know everybody's mad at me, but let's see whatever, this is the big search engine. So we're going to just type in Epstein White House tour, the Post, and the Daily Mail. Let's just go to news, see what comes up. Radar Online, The Sun. Okay, now we're done. But let's go by, this is relevance. This is their news one. Let's use our tools here. Let's go by date. So this will give us the last 24 hours. Who's touching it? Okay, somehow Biden and Pfizer are up there. I don't know how that is. iHeartRadio, KPRC AM 950, Daily Mail, Radar Online, The Examiner, the Post Millennial. Where's NBC? Yeah, and then we get European media, the Telegraph. I'm using the Daily Mail. Where's NBC? Where's MSNBC? Where's CNN? Where's even Fox News? Fox News will get there. The Post did it, right? Fox News will get there. The Tuckster will probably talk about it. But this has been out. I almost did this video almost 24 hours ago, right? You see what I'm saying? Like the Examiner had it out almost, 20 hours ago. And when I saw this, I was like, should I do? I'm like, why? The media's just going to ignore it anyway. No big deal. And yes, there are multiple pictures of them. Okay. And I really want to get into these photos now. Okay. Thousands of highly confidential photos entered as evidence in the Ghislaine Maxwell court case may temporarily stall the hearings as her lawyers have requested time to prove or pore over, that's spelled wrong, right? Over the new trove of information. There are tens of thousands of pieces of evidence introduced in Miss Maxwell's trial, and the new release of 2,100 photos will only add to the amount of evidence of the alleged sex trafficker's lawyers that we'll have to see before she goes to trial. Now, let's talk about that for a second. What are these photographs? Well, I'll tell you what. We know that at least on the New York raid, when they went to the New York mansion, it was reported that in that safe, other than jewelry, passports, and cash, there were either photographs or videos. Now, here's the deal. Okay. I don't believe all of these are pedophilia and blackmail. And what do I mean by that? I mean, some of these are probably very general photographs. And that's going to confuse some people. Don't get me wrong. There's a ton of blackmail in there. But at least these photographs, and probably whatever we'll eventually see in the public eye of these photographs, are just going to be photographs that would otherwise connect the dots. What do I mean? Well, we have photographs of Gates and Epstein together, right? Imagine if we had 40 or 50 other ones with other associates in big tech or in the UN or other individuals that have yet to be named, just hanging out, right? Then what you have are citizen journalists, independent journalists like Whitney Webb, Johnny Vedmore, and others that will then scope those pictures and look at those individuals and then find the dates that they were there and then make the connections in the business worlds that they were in, right? So just because they're confidential or doesn't mean they're the trafficking photos, the graphic stuff. Because quite frankly, unfortunately, I would assume the vast majority of what we would believe to be the blackmail stuff, the dark stuff, is already gone from the cover-up crew. The blackmail's already gone to the cover-up crew, somewhere in the deep, dark nether realms of our corrupt corporate intelligence apparatus. Somewhere in there. Now, whether you believe that's the NSA, the CIA, the FBI, the Mossad, some kind of hybrid of whatever, it's almost a moot point. We know the cover-up crew got in there deep and dirty. Right? Epstein makes it on his second suicide attempt. You get it? So there's a lot going on right here. And again, I've been neglecting this, but I'm hoping that the more public information that comes out, the more we can resurrect this as an issue. Because even talking to my brother over the weekend, I took a break Saturday and Sunday. A lot of you guys were mad at me that I didn't do a watch along. Pat was over, my friend Pat Militich, but instead I was talking to my brother, and I was like, Pat, let's just watch these fights and enjoy them. I want to sit back. I'm trying to take a little break from at least talking about this stuff, because I can't stop watching and looking and analyzing about this stuff. But at the same time, every once in a while, guys, like I said, I just need a couple days. And by the way, I was working on something else. So while I was talking to my brother, to get back to this, he's like, it's the craziest thing, man. He's like, now, we got like so much focus on like the Chauvin trial and all this, but the Epstein stuff has totally disappeared. And he's like, what's more important? He goes, an international child trafficking ring that connects to, literally Hollywood big business and politicians that we know exists, or, the unfortunate mess we have in our country with police brutality in some ways. Because again, I'm not one of these guys that thinks that Chauvin should have just got off. Okay? Don't get me wrong. There was plenty of reasonable doubt on some of the counts there, et cetera, but having his knee on that neck for that long, guys, I'm sorry. I don't talk about that one because I don't think that it deserves the media attention that it's gotten. Also, I've seen no evidence even throughout that trial that somehow he was a racist. And if anybody can provide that for me, that's the other thing. They made it about race. We had this real child trafficking ring. And now my brother's like, if you talk about it, people act like you're QAnon. And I go, no, I know, dude. Why do you think I was so against it for so long? Why do you think I still bring it up? Because, again, that marginalized all this reality we're still trying to bring to light. Okay? So, look, this is a rough draft, by the way. I do want to let people know. One of the things, and of course those aren't there, but that's okay. We're gonna make it there. In fact, we'll do it live so everybody can understand. We're fighting these great resets and these new digital age measures that these people are trying to bring in. And one of the ways that I'm doing it is by putting this together. This is what I've been up to. This is a rough draft, by the way, but we're definitely doing this event. We might take maskless off of it. I'm about to clean it up a little bit and send it over to my buddy Todd, who just got picnics or peopleforpicnics.com. That's where you're going to be able to find out information about this. But we're having a maskless Mother's Day picnic. You can come join us on Mother's Day, May 9th, from noon to 5 at Crow Creek Park in Bettendorf, Iowa. Okay, and we believe it's time for our community to show the rest of the country we're ready to get back to our lives without fear or without restrictions. So we have decided to throw a free public barbecue, that's right, free, where all are welcome and encouraged to bring their mother and family for a great time. We will be serving burgers, hot dogs, and much, much more, but most importantly, we are creating an environment that does not care about your political beliefs and simply aims to allow our children to play with one another again. Wow. As our community embraces the best thing about life, family. So, again, not a political thing. I'm doing this out of my own pocket, which, again, would not be possible without you guys. In fact, I think it's Kelly. Thank you so much for that Venmo, specifically for the picnic. I can promise you it is going specifically for the picnic. We're going to do it big. I'm really excited about it, actually. I'm probably spending $500 to $1,000 easy, and we're going to be out there for five hours, and we're going to make it a party atmosphere, and we're hoping that you bring your mom, your grandma, your friends, your kids, anyone in the area, and go watch my Crow Creek Park live stream over at YouTube. You get a sense of the park. It's going to be great. Now's the time. We're going to have videos about the UFC event and another event that took place over the weekend with 50,000 plus in Auckland, New Zealand. All these things later. But look, guys, you don't have to wait till the 4th of July. You don't have to wait for people to tell you you can be a human being again. So there it is. Thank you guys so much. If you want to support me, you know how to do it. Make sure you make the free Rockfin account, but the premium Rockfin account really does it. The other links to support me are down below at the YouTube link. Guys, I love you, and I'll see you later on the flip side.